Osu is in the peculiar state of endlessly repeating the cycle. Just a couple of years ago, Sotarks was dominating the mapping meta, with 1-2s and TV size that are a minute and 30 seconds long. After that, after a lot of players complained and there was a problem, even Peppy, the developer of Osu, pointed out himself that, hey Sotarks, we need to talk about how you're abusing the meta. And Sotarks was a bit scared at first, like, oh, I'm in trouble. But nothing really came out of that. He continues to make farm maps, and Sotarks is the main offender because he's the most popular. Mappers like Monstrata, Kuki, Logoff now have always been involved. There are mappers that know how mapping works and what makes a map popular, what makes the map playable, easy, comfortable for players to play and gain PP. But originally, they weren't doing it for the purpose of PP. Yeah, sure, Sotark's Dragon Force map, Quiet Thunder, was made to break the 700 PP barrier. Even though mapping for the meta hasn't happened often enough, it's by the same people. Sotark's Cry Thunder, and again Raise My Sword, and Songs compilation, which were made solely surpassed the 1k PP barrier, which was broken by Vaxe anyways on Tsukinami, a map no one thought a hidden DT FC for 1k PP was possible. Then again, Osu players tend to do the impossible. Now let's go a few years back, and by a few years back I mean 1 to 2 years back, because people started to get sick of aim slop. That is what we call it now, aim slop. And so a new age of mapping started. A mapping reconnaissance, however you say that word. Mapping song representation, and it gave mappers full creative freedom as BNs fully endorsed it, as more maps that represent the song's meaning and the mapper's interpretation of the songs were ranked more often than usual. So often that players started to point it out how there was a lack, or not really a lack, there was just less aim-focused maps being pumped out. And there's also the stream players, they get one stream farm maps every month. So the age of song representation started. People started making fun of it on Twitter. It doesn't make sense for the regular player. Why is this here? Is this overmapped? A great example would be Downpour, the mapper that made Coconut Mall. When Coconut Mall was first ranked, it was highly criticized for its ideas and Downpour's creativity. Yet nowadays, his ideas are more implemented in each passing days in the ranked section. But it wasn't always like that. Downpour received a lot of criticism and hate from fellow mappers and a top player, namely Shimon, where he made fun of Downpour's concept map. It was not for ranked. It's a map called Get Down. I only know the word, Get Down. Shimon was basically making fun of how Downpour used additive rhythm to represent a song, which wasn't even his main premise. The main premise is the hyperspeed sliders that was present in every other part of the map. But no, it was the 116 stream that, was the part of the ridicule. And Downpour received a lot of hate, mostly from the players that don't understand the concept of mapping or its ideas that were represented in Downpour's map. He did receive a lot of backing from his mapping friends though, because they know how mapping works. They know what ideas and song representations are and such. Now, back to present day. Aim slop is now all over the daily ranked map section. It started with songs that might play when you play Sans, a map that is barely 30 seconds long. And when you add DT to it, it becomes super quick. And it wasn't highly offensive in terms of meta abusing. Yeah, sure, playing a map for 20 seconds gives you way too much PP. And people did complain about it. People did point out how, oh, this is like way too overweighted. But they had no idea what's about to come next. Comes, Are You For Me? Oh yeah, and Brazil. That's where Plasma comes in. Plasma is widely known on Twitter for making aim slop. He's a very good mapper overall, but he maps what the players like, namely aim slop. His ranking of Brazil, an aim slop map, it was a minute and 30 seconds long. Unlike Are You For Me, Cutver. Should mappers map the entire song, or should they have the liberty to cut the audio to however they like to fit the meta? Because Are You For Me is like 30 seconds long, and it gives way too much PP for the time spent. And combine that with CSR, a rework that doesn't punish you for missing as much. CSR was an overall good change, but like any change, there's always going to be loopholes around it. And that's where mappers took advantage of it to map things that allow players to break PP records. Like Emrich's 1900 PP score on RU4Me. To be fair, it was a rate change in Laser, but apparently Laser's rate change is gonna be ranked soon, so who knows. RU4Me was heavily criticized because there are two sets of it that features very similar jump patterns that aren't really that creative, because it's just the same thing over and over with a gradual increase in spacing. And the other one features the same sets of jumps, but slightly different movement that changes to different back and forths in the second section. If you're a player, who gives a shit, right? You're getting more aim slop. But for the mapping community, this is a huge problem. Because if you're gonna map something, you might as well map the whole thing. Because what's the point of mapping if you're just gonna cut it? Where is the creativity and self-expression in that? Because mapping is like an art project. It's a way for people, for mappers, who find enthusiasm in mapping to express themselves. And this sets up an ick in the people that are passionate about map, because why is this shit being ranked now? And BNs, of course, took notice to it because they raised a concern of whether or not a map should be ranked due to its length. But it's never stated in the ranking criteria it shouldn't be ranked. It doesn't state anywhere in the criteria that the map can't be cut. It only says that the map has to be at least the specific of drain length, and that's it. And that's where the loophole comes in, because you can just map a 30-second song with, at least 30 seconds of drain length, make the diff spike super stupid. So people will play DT, like 6 miss, and just randomly get their new top play of 800, 700, 1k, whatever the fuck. And that's how Osu came full circle. From where the problem started with Sotarks ranking aim slop, to a new age of song representation, a step forward for mapping, and now we are back at where we started. But worse, because, well, of course, it can't be good if this many people are talking about it, which is, it's ironic because Osu is a game about clicking circle to the beat, yet as we come full circle, no one in this community can come in sync with each other. And that is exactly how the PP farming meta is so harmful to Osu. Meta this, meta that. Have you ever met a woman that loves and cares for you deeply? I have. I'm not too sure that I deserve her. You see, the loss of my channel is causing me a lot of grief, and in the last video, or in the video where I talk about it, I thought I would recover, or like, bounce back, or whatever the fuck. But no. See, I didn't even feel grief when I lost my grandfather, like, last year. But the loss of my channel, where, I put like 3 years of work in, is hitting pretty hard. And, when I say, oh, you bounce back, oh, there's one short that's doing well, yeah, but there's no motivation, there's no purpose, there's no will. Everything is just gone, and I'm in the bottomless pit of fucking self-pity. See, I was supposed to, like, I don't know, make like 10 shorts a day, or like have video ideas, but those require motivation, and I don't even have motivation to exist. Every day I contemplate about giving all of my money away in terms of Osu supporter or whatever the fuck, and then just erase my internet presence, everything altogether. I mean, that's not the first time I've done it. I've just been really fucking pathetic. And it's not really helping my girlfriend. Oh, she's been supportive, but whenever I say I want to die, because I do, she gets upset because it scares her, but it truly feels like I have nothing left. All of my ambition is gone. And once again, I am just a dead man walking. Wow, the Osu aim meta situation is crazy.